Gerald's, we asked to talk about the topic of greening Dublin. And as I talked about, drawing on some research that we did in UCD in the Geography Department, which many people were involved in, to try and map out the trees of Dublin. The first image I'm going to show you here is, of course, a very well-known park inside the city centre of Dublin. One of the characteristics of cities, of course, is that they are, by definition, not green. Except there's a little pocket of green located within the urban environment. And you can see it stands out like a little jewel inside the relatively impermeable landscape. Essentially what I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to tell you about the services provided by essentially greening cities. We're talking specifically about Dublin and talking about the potential for increasing the amount of green area in Dublin. Now, the greening aspect of Dublin is a big part of Dublin's city strategy. In fact, in the 2020 development report, they talk about pursuing a green infrastructure approach to a sustainable city. Now, in this respect, they're talking about greening almost as though it was another piece of engineering. So the work I'm going to present to you today is based upon work that I did and a number of colleagues at UCD. The picture there comes from a notional view of what a city might look like. This is Canberra in Australia. It's a big question as to whether you could ever have a city that looks like this and have it being functional. Cities, by definition, I said, are impermeable. That means that they're designed basically to be hard and to deliver water that falls in the landscape into systems that can rid the water quickly. They're also places of intense concentration. That concentration of activity gives rise to buildings. So you get the impermeable surfaces, you get the buildings, you get the traffic. The consequence is you get very, very poor air quality in cities, largely as a result of the concentration of both the emissions and the landscape in a very, very small area. This picture here is taken from the top of Liberty Hall. It's a picture of North Dublin over towards the Spire. And you can see that for the most part, particularly the north side of the city of Dublin, is practically barren. It's almost like a stone. It's got very few trees in it. So I'm going to talk about the extent to which vegetation can offset some of the properties that you do not like about cities. And this is where this idea of a green infrastructure comes into place. This is probably the largest piece of single green infrastructure we have in the city of Dublin. This is Phoenix Park. Now, the thing to note about the green infrastructure is that it actually has many, many parts to it. One thing is very, very large. One of the big questions in modifying the urban landscape is whether, in fact, you need parks this size to make a difference. We're very rare in terms of Europe in having a park this size close to the city centre. Notice also that much of the park consists of lawn, and only a small portion of the park consists of trees. So very different types of green infrastructure. In fact, when most people talk about greening cities, they don't often distinguish between the types of greening that can occur. These types of greening, certainly the green walls, the green paving, the green roof, are almost like the green clothing that you put on top of surfaces. They have very, very limited substrates and very little capacity to do actual work. So, for example, the ivy-covered buildings that you see here provides obviously shelter for the building behind it, but it has a moderate effect on, say, for example, precipitation or, for example, biodiversity. Green paving is a big idea at the moment because it obviously allows water to penetrate through the paving to the substrate, and therefore allows the landscape to actually breathe in and out by expelling water vapour to the atmosphere. There's a fair amount of work that was done on green paving, but generally speaking it's been restricted to environments where cars park or there's light traffic. So you tend to see it in people's driveways, which are hardly likely to see it as a motorway, for example. Here's another example. This is probably one of the most famous examples of a green roof. This is from Chicago City Hall. The interesting thing is this building is only half owned by City Hall, which is why the green landscaping only occurs on one half of the building. Again, ask yourself the question as to what value it is. This on top of a skyscraper is largely used for educational value. It has very little value to the people who live in the streets down below. But in fact, green cities or green infrastructure also incorporates a whole bunch of stuff that's often put under the rubric of sustainable urban drainage systems. So the one on the left-hand side is a channel. The channel is designed to slow down the movement of water into the water courses. Trees are probably the most versatile of all the green infrastructure that can be placed in cities, largely because they can be co-located with the issues which you're trying to resolve. So trees have many remarkable properties. much of which are related to the size of canopy and the area of leaves that are presented to the atmosphere. Because it's through the leaves that the plant actually engages with the atmosphere. So the stem itself takes up obviously the nutrients from the soil. City life is hard for trees because it has difficulty in getting access to water, but it channels the water along the stem and breathes with the atmosphere through the stomata and the leaves. Both of these trees are deciduous, which means that most of their functionality occurs during the time of year of growth, which generally means it occurs during the summer periods. Trees in the city have a hard life. In fact, if you look in the city centre of Dublin, there are very, very few species of trees that are planted, largely because they have to be able to withstand a number of pressures. This poor tree gets a regular haircut every time a bus goes along, so it's greatly constrained in its possibilities. Still, they can provide lots of very, very good functions. Colleagues of mine, this is the top of Kevin Street in Dublin, and those instruments you see up there are actually measuring carbon dioxide coming off the urban landscape. So one thing we know that trees can do is they can sequester and store carbon. They're very, very effective at this. That's what the postal photosynthesis delivers. So on the right-hand side, I've shown you a graph from a suburban environment in Dublin where there are lots and lots of very healthy trees. And this instrument was located at the time on top of a primary school. So here you can see the traffic flows that you would expect. Now normally you'd expect the atmosphere to respond accordingly, because the biggest source of carbon into the Dublin's atmosphere are motor cars. But you can see that during the daytime, in the summertime, the trees are all growing and they're actually taking up carbon. And in fact, for a brief period of time during the daytime, they're actually taking more carbon than the traffic gives off. So in this case here, the trees in a suburban environment with relatively light traffic are doing a very, very fine job. They're actually taking carbon and offsetting emissions into the atmosphere. Here's another example. A colleague of mine went around the streets of Dublin at various points, picking leaves off the tree at various heights. Now, he picked certain leaves off the tree because those leaves tend to be sticky. Then they washed off the materials in the leaves to find how much stuff had accumulated. In other words, this is an evaluation of the ability of trees to effectively scavenge pollutants out of the atmosphere. Here you can see Stephen's Green. That's the side that has the Lewis on it, so it's regular traffic. You can see wherever the traffic is, that's where the leaves get coated with the dirt. Here's another street, there's Baggot Street, and here's a street on the north side of Dublin, and over on the Quays. Wherever you get lots of traffic adjacent to the trees, the lower trees simply sweep away the particulates in the atmosphere. Now, from the point of view of a pedestrian, that means that you really want to be on the other side of the tree, because the trees have done the job of filtering. So, how green is Dublin? This is not an easy one to answer, because if you want to know about the nature of the infrastructure, you actually have to count all the trees in the city. So the way we did this was we randomly sampled thousands, hundreds of thousands of points across the entire 4-county area to find out what proportion of the landscape was green, what proportion of the landscape was built upon, what proportion was grass, what proportion was trees. So let me show you the results. This is the 4-county area, this is Dublin County. On the left-hand side is the impermeable landscape. So not surprisingly, you'll find that the landscape that's actually built upon and is delivering the water into the system is concentrated in all the built-up parts of the city, particularly in the city centre. The areas of the city or the county that are relatively permeable are either in the Dublin Mountain area or in the areas of North Dublin and Fingal, where there's lots of grass, lots of vegetation, but most of it's in agriculture. Now, if I started mapping out the trees, not simply the portion of landscape that's permeable and impermeable, you see a very, very distinct pattern emerges. The reason I started this study was to answer the question about the leafy suburbs, which, as everybody knows, in RT language is code word for wealth. All the places that are deprived of trees and all the places that have an excess of trees. And what you see is a very clear pattern emerging. In the city centre, this part of the city, the southeast, is essentially green Dublin. Not green Dublin is the inner city and stretching along a corridor out through Old Crumlin and out through Talon. You see a green wedge from Clontarf over toward Drumcondra. There's Stephen's Green, there's Castleknock. You don't see many trees in North Dublin because most of it's set aside for agriculture. So a distinct pattern emerges. How useful are these trees? Well, it is possible to predict exactly how much sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide these trees are capable of sequestering. And that's what we've done here. We've done a calculation of the tons of emissions that the trees take out of the atmosphere. So trees are very, very effective in contributing to air quality, but they can only partially offset the emissions. We estimated the carbon emissions released by cars excuse me, in the city over the course of a year, and we'd estimate that you have to increase the tree population in Dublin 100 times to take care of just 1 year's worth of cars in the city. So they're a contributor, but there's no way they'll compensate for the emissions into the atmosphere. They also contribute, or potentially contribute, to water. In this case here, I've taken information from flood control, which indicates the part of the city that are subject to intense rainfall events and potential flooding. And separately to that, I've mapped out the trees in green. And if you're going to make trees and have them a purpose in the city, you have to be quite strategic about their placement. There's absolutely no strategic linkage between where we plant trees and what we're trying to get them to do. So if they are to use as infrastructure, you have to be a lot more clever about the placement of trees. The obvious question. We don't just plant trees for environmental stuff, we plant them for lots of other reasons. This is the map I was showing you earlier, and all I've done is zoom into it. So these are the green parts of Dublin, and these are the relatively treeless parts of Dublin. So there's Clontarf, stretching over, there's Phoenix Park, there's Castlemore. So just as an example, I took out all the information about prices of property being sold in the city. And I categorised them according to whether they're in the lower quartile, the middle quartile, the upper quartile. And just by observation, there's a clear correlation. Now, to some extent the correlation is a bit of a fix. If you live in this part of the world, you probably have bigger gardens. And because you have bigger gardens, you've got more space to put in trees. But you're starting to see that these parts of the city are literally deprived of trees. If we compare Dublin to other cities, we're about average. We're about average. But if I look individually within the city itself, some parts of the city have lots of trees, and other parts of the city have very, very few. In fact, if I look inside the city centre itself, which there's a lot of people living in the city centre, and it's also a big tourist area, Dublin is very close to being a stone. If I just take the spire as being the centre, there's very, very few trees within the area. About 4% of the landscape is covered by trees. And that puts us in the very, very lower part when I compare using the equivalent method to other cities. Can Dublin be made greener? Here's the question you've got to ask. How much of the land is public? How much of it is private? How much of the land is already built upon? How much of the land is available? If I focused on the city centre itself, how much of the land is actually built upon or is paved? So here's the question. If you're going to plant more trees or have more green areas, that means fewer buildings or means giving up road space. So the only way to actually green the city centre of Dublin is to think about it comprehensively. And think about the parts of the city where you want to be strategic. Now I've chosen two examples here. There's a recently developed area on the north side of the city over by the Docklands. There's a few trees along here, but much of this part of the city, which is recently developed, which has lots of apartments, has absolutely no green space at all. And yet we've just built it. In other words, it still looks like the old Dockland that it had before. So, if we are going to green the city of Dublin, we have to be very, very careful about where we decide to green it. In some cases, it's a case of taking parks and simply landscaping to put more trees in. In other parts of the city, it's a case of actually acquiring land from other purposes. There's no way around it. Now, that makes perfect sense. If you want to control air quality in Dublin, trees won't do the job for you. But if you have a tree planting project in conjunction with traffic removal, you might achieve something. Thank you very much.